And in our last game of the day, we have GangnamLife on spot number 3, playing the Teal Protoss up against Gasvulture, playing the Terran on spot number 7. Gasvulture is also known as JH in StarCraftWorld.com, and he's a pretty good 1 versus 1 player, as many Westerners would attest, and probably a lot of Koreans too. And GangnamLife is, I've heard, a Korean Gosu on fastest map who prefers to remain a little bit on the low profile end of things, but now I'm throwing a wrench in those plans, and he is going to become a YouTube star thanks to my YouTube casts of his game. And yeah, standard starts for both of them. 8-10 Barrack for Gasvulture, an 8-9 Pylon for GangnamLife, and there's a 9-10 Depot for Gasvulture, and we're going to see a +1 Nexus from GangnamLife, no gateways, going for the big fat economy build, a little bit of, there it is the Nexus. And meanwhile Gasvulture is adding another barrack. Depot is finished, it's now 11-18 against 11-17, which will soon be 12-18 against 12-17. And there's a little, I'm not sure how you follow a unit. There is an option that allows you to do it. I'm not sure what the function is. But here he is, the probe scouting the map, going to spot 5 and spot 6, followed by spot 7. It looks like Gasvulture is going for a 2-barrack build. Depot is being constructed, Marine is out, another Marine is being produced, and the barrack is almost finished, which will lead to more Marine production. GangnamLife has started a choke, it's making a cannon at his choke. There's a gateway, Nexus about to finish, making 2 gas. And the Forge is sitting there, he's gonna follow that up with another cannon, probably, or a cybernetics core once the gateway finishes. Probably also make a Zealot. We just have to wait and see. There he pulls it off, and there it comes. Cybernetics core. He's going for tech strategies. Like, I assume it's the best choice, given so many Koreans do it. And they have the reasoning for it. He pulls off 3. He pulls off 6 probes, puts them on the gas, as is standard. And when that's the standard amount you have to put on there to get a maximum out of it. 4 Marines just happily sitting inside the choke of Gasvulture. More Marines coming in. There's a 3rd barrack being thrown down. There's an academy and a depot. So the single gas added another command center. Going for the big income builds. Both of them actually are going for the big income builds. And there is a robotic facility being thrown down for GangnamLife. There is a Citadel of the Dune. And he's sending a probe out to the north. There's a pylon there. He's trying to get vision of his base against any... Well, it's just useful to have vision of your base. Gives you a bit of a bigger buffer zone against any cheesy attacks or drops. Or all kind of stuff. Gasvulture in the meantime is balding up his Marines in front of GangnamLife's choke. Tries to snipe the probe, fails to snipe the probe, almost loses 2 Marines, manages to pull back just in time. Now he's going to take down this gateway that GangnamLife tried to construct in front of his cannons. And there's another robotics facility about to finish. His robotics facility finished. He's making a cannon, making a shuttle. And he has not made any ground units yet, so he's entirely relying on these cannons for his defense. But luckily for him, Gasvulture is still upgrading Stim. Went for a late academy so that he doesn't have any medics or anything like that. He cannot rush this little choke down with his Marines. So he has started another gas. There's a factory going, an engineering bay going, another factory going, and a starport going. So the usual anti-drop countermeasures are being produced. And GangnamLife has started a shuttle speed. There it is. And he's made a Templar's Archive. And he's adding more pylons. He's building his skeleton in his base, to which he can add muscles, aka starports and gateways. He's gonna free gas. He's not made any cannons yet. Luckily for him, he doesn't need them yet. It's a little bit too early into the game for a tank drop, which I feel Gasvulture will try. He's known for going tank drops in pretty much every situation that he can, and trying to hit those probes of his enemy. There's a pylon, the anti-DT pylon. And gateways are finally being thrown down for GangnamLife. He's got a DT out. He's got a Reaver, 2 Reavers out, and a shuttle. He's gonna send them down here to the side. He kills a single Marine that was there for vision. So now Gasvulture knows that GangnamLife has a Dark Templar out. But Gasvulture also has a turret out in his front. But I don't think he's expecting the Dark Templar to actually go there. GangnamLife knows there's a turret, so he's gonna drop down his Reavers and kill this turret. And then he might walk his DT in. He's not gonna walk his DT in at all. He's actually gonna scout around a little bit. He might miss an opportunity for his DT to do any real damage to Gasvulture. I assume he's going to kill this thing here. He's not gonna kill it. He's gonna walk in his DT, and he drops the Reavers. Top of a turret that's being constructed. The turret doesn't finish in time. He's microing his Reavers pretty well. He kills a bunch of Marines. I can't see how many he killed, but he killed a lot of them. And now the Reavers get focused down. After killing the turret and even more Marines, I think he killed like 20 Marines there with just 2 Reavers and a little nice pickup on the Reavers. Another drop is coming in. What's in there? 2 Zealots in there, 2 Templars in there, 2 different shuttles actually. So he's gonna try a neat little distraction trick. He puts them down against this bottom side of the map wall, but at the same time a drop is flying out for Gasvulture. And Gasvulture focuses down the wrong shuttle, and the storm comes out, picks up the Templar. I'm not sure how many SCVs he killed, but a lot of SCVs went down. He goes for another storm, kills a single Marine actually, not a single SCV died in the second storm, but that's a really nice little move he did. He even gets a shuttle out alive, but in the meantime a drop has happened inside GangnamLife's base, and he's killed 24 probes of GangnamLife with a nice little counter drop. Counter drop is what, in my opinion, makes him so successful. But here another drop happened at the same time inside Gasvulture's base that I also missed, and for which I also didn't see how many units he lost. And actually I want to rewind a little bit just so we can see what happened there. So just going to rewind to the 7-minute mark. Hope you don't mind that I'm rewinding. Just gonna want to get all that action in as it happened instead of missing all that stuff. So now I'm just gonna press play again, and while that drop is happening there, we're gonna see this drop happening here. And here's the other drop that I missed happening, like it's right there. So let's see this one. Puts down the tanks, sieges up, and he gets 8 kills, 20 kills, 4 kills, and here's the drop that's happening inside his base. 28 kills with the Templar. Picks the Templar back up. The Templar's now sitting inside the shuttle. The shuttle is gonna... Oh, he tried to drop the shuttle on top of the SCVs, and the splash damage almost kills the SCVs. I think he even killed some SCVs with the splash damage. Really smart move from GangnamLife. He is indeed showing off all his Gasu little shuttle skills and drop skills and plans that he has. Creative plans, actually. He's really creative with this. I'm not sure if it's the smartest choice to put this Templar in the weak shuttle. It's already damaged, but it might work out for him. He drops a Zealot. He's gonna scout that little drop there. He flies in this drop, but the shuttles get focused down, and the Templar gets a storm off, kills a lot of Marines. That's way more Marines than I think he would have, than I thought he would have killed with that storm. A little bit of a delayed dodge, and Gasvulture, as you can see, really broke. But he's going to try to make GangnamLife broke too. Here comes the drop. There's a single tank in there, but the tank dies before it can get a shot off, and it kills a single probe. GangnamLife pulls all of his SC probes down to lowest gas. out of the range of the tank, saves his probes, and averts crisis. And he's gonna load up another drop. There's 2 Templars finished. There's a Zealot there, which he's gonna put in this in the shuttle too, I assume. Weapon upgrade starting. Wait, is that a drop? Was that a? Did I miss another drop? Oh, I'm out of shape this game. I'm just missing drops. I'm gonna keep my eye on the minimap a little bit better. Even gonna change the color of the minimaps to help myself not miss any drops. And ensure that you have a quality game. And another tank drop is being sent out. Like, this is a nice little fun game of drops against drops. And whoever gets out on top is the person who has the most successful drops, it seems. He stims his marines, he kills the shuttle, Zealot dies. That's a failed drop to the success of Gasvulture, who will now be able to build in peace for like another 30 or 40 seconds more. Another drop has been loaded up, 1 shuttle filled with Zealots, another shuttle filled with 1 Templar and 3 Zealots. Here's a drop flying in, but there's 4 Dragoons, 2 cannons. Will he be able to land the tanks and get a shot off on these? He will probably get his... Oh, that's very unfortunate. He didn't load it here, but the tank went over there. It's like a complete gamble of where the tank is going to go sometimes. Like, if the tank landed here, he would definitely have been able to siege the tank and probably get a shot off on these probes. But he failed. Here's the drop coming in. He stims the marines, and unluckily, he... Ooh, he almost killed a bunch of tanks with splash damage. Luckily for Gasvulture, he unsieged the tanks just in time to not get splash damage onto his own SCVs and lose SCVs. It's kind of unfortunate for GangnamLife that the Templar was dropped right at the start. I assume he did just unload all units. The little trick where you click on a specific shuttle while all the shuttles are flying, and the shuttles start unloading while flying. I assume he did that little trick. And the Templar just happened to be the first one in the shuttle, so that one got dropped first. He's not a drop coming. He's going to try for a different direction because he remembers that there's a turret there. The drop is being sent out. The drop flies in. Gasvulture stims his marines, focuses down the shuttles, and a storm... I don't think a storm got off. I think a couple of marines died to splash damage. Storm of this Templar didn't get the storm in time. Really well done. Another drop flying out, another drop flying in. And there's 2 tanks sieging up, and he's not gonna get a single... Yeah, he's gonna get 7 kills on a couple probes, but that's not sufficient. I don't think that's a worthy trade-off for how much minerals he spent into that drop. Here's another drop flying in. He drops the Zealot, drops another Zealot, 3 Zealots dropped, and there's the Templar. Templar's gonna storm. Gonna get 2 storms off, and he kills a couple of leftover SCVs that Gasvulture didn't have hotkeyed, and killed a couple of probes and did a little bit of damage to the siege tank, but doesn't get anything of significance off. And we're just gonna go back to continuing the drop game, as both players have been slowed down in their game plans by all these drops, and having to deal with the drops, losing some probes here and there, losing some SCVs here and there, and yes, more drops. He even put a raid with it, like how players usually put a Corsair with their shell drops. He put a raid with his regular drop to take cannon fire. But there's now more cannons, and there's 6 Dragoons there ready to defend. And he's pulling his Corsairs back to more quickly kill the dropship. There's the dropship. Dropship doesn't get focused. He gets his tank into siege mode, but the tanks don't finish sieging and die to the Dragoons and the cannons before they can get a shot up on the probes. And I think this might be the moment where you call it a quits, and instead of sending off your tanks non-stop, you start saving up tanks, although he has saved up a lot of tanks already. But I feel it might be a better choice to just mass up, quickly build the base, and go for an attack, a push, anything. Because you know that the Protoss has been investing a lot of money into these drops, and doesn't have a big base. He even has a scan. You can scan the base and see the size of GangnamLife's base. GangnamLife's base isn't very big. He's being completely dedicated to drops, sending up drops continuously. trying to slow Gasvulture down, but Gasvulture doesn't seem all that slowed down despite getting hit on that first drop. And there is the Marines taking down a lot of shuttles. The Marines dying to splash damage. There's Storm. He got like 20 SCVs died there to the Storm. Really unfortunate for Gasvulture. He should have pulled off way earlier. But I assume that he thought that he could snipe down, that the Templars would die before they could get the Storms off. But it's never a smart choice to gamble on drops. Just always be sure, pull those SCVs away, so you don't lose them, you don't lose income. And for some reason, Gasvulture's income is very low. He's on very low minerals, very low gas. He's even decided to make more probes to remedy his low mineral count and his low gas count. And now he's gonna load up another drop. He hasn't decided to go for a frontal attack yet. I assume he thinks Gasvulture is way poorer and a way worse situation than he actually is. So, but he's not that high in minerals, so he might not have much other options. He's doing a lot of upgrading though inside his base. Like he's got 002 on his ground units. He's making arbiters, going for stasis. He's adding upgrade air weapons, upgrade ground armor, upgrade plasma shields, upgrade air armor. Stasis as already mentioned, even adding Templar energy, even more weapon upgrades. He's almost on 003, he's almost on 3 weapon upgrades. And Gasvulture is still on 00 for his tanks and his air, but he's almost finishing his first tank weapons upgrade. And vehicle plating and upgrade ship weapons. He's added a lot of factories now, so he's got the ability to pump out a mass of tanks really quickly in rapid succession, and he's going for another drop again, and this time he's doing it with 3 dropships to make sure that at least 2 or 3 tanks can get their siege mode off before dying and get a shut off on those probes. Here come tanks. Oh, he's landing the tanks on the hill instead, so he can kill all this stuff unchallenged basically. There's not much that wait, there's an arbiter. He's gonna cover his dragoons with the arbiter and shoot the tanks down. There's a drop flying in inside Gasvulture's base. Gets a storm off. It's 1 SCV down, and this one got 4 SCVs. That one got 5 SCVs, or Marines even. It wasn't all SCVs because most SCVs dodged the drop, so he mostly lost his gas SCVs. But he's also getting attacked in the front. But the attack on the front wasn't very successful because there's so many tanks that can easily hold all these dragoons back. Shuttle is still hanging there. He's making a Valkyrie as anti-drop. And he's gonna add a bunch of... No, he's not gonna add a bunch of machine factories. Meanwhile, inside of GangnamLife base, these tanks have done a lot of work in taking down cannons and whatnot. Probably use the scan too, so the tanks could focus down the dragoons under the Arbiter's cloak. And I think there's a gateway has died. Not sure what this building was, but I assume it was a cannon or a pylon. Maybe something else, not sure what it was, but it died. Here he is making a bunch of gateways, so you can send units into the back of Gasvulture's mass once Gasvulture is out of his base. Gasvulture here is trying to push out very slowly. There's another drop coming for Gasvulture. And here's a drop coming. Oh no, he's again gonna drop those tanks on the hill and try to abuse GangnamLife's base a little bit. Gonna do some more damage to all his buildings here. He lands 1 tank down on the regular ground. And a couple of Corsairs coming in. They're gonna... Ooh, he picks up the tanks and tries to land them down on the floor, but only a single tank gets out. Not both get out. Oh, there's cleaning out these cannons here. It's a nice little cannon push going on. While he's also trying to push here. But he doesn't get a lot of... well, there's 3 cannons that go down, and I assume it was a cannon too. Not sure if it was a pylon or a cannon. There's a nice little bit of damage dealt to GangnamLife, distracting him from this little frontal push that's happening right now. But here's a drop coming in. And Corsairs take all the turret damage. And oh, the tanks. A storm on nothing. The tanks killed a bunch of Marines. 2 splash damage on the Zealot. And he's just gonna push out more. Gonna spread these tanks out real nice. Kill these cannons out in the middle. Then GangnamLife from getting middle control. Oh, GangnamLife is gonna try to get middle control back with the Zealots. Well, it's definitely not enough Zealots to fight against these tanks. He's got an Arbiter. He's making turrets to get vision of units under the Arbiter. And he does a preemptive scan. A lot of Zealots actually coming in now. And he's walking them in between the tanks before making them attack. Nullifying the tank damage. Tanks hitting other tanks with splash damage. And all these tanks get taken down by the Zealots. And GangnamLife is going to pull them back. No, he's not going to pull them back. He's going to just focus on the frontal tank. And he's going back in, kills the Goliath. The Dragoons walking in, but the tanks that are still there are zoning the Dragoons off. And the Dragoons pull back into the middle. And GangnamLife is going back for massing up, regrouping more units, making a new mass. He's going to try a pincer move, actually, from the top and from the side. He's also sending out a drop. Drop is filled up with, let's see, a Templar and 4 Templars, actually, so he might actually not even be able to get a storm off. Although Gasvulture did pull a lot of units out of his base. But he still has a couple of tanks sieged up, 4 tanks sieged up, 5th tank sieged up, there's a tank, another tank there. The drop is going to fly in. And there's also a pincer move going on in the middle at the same time. But let's look at the drop. He's not going to lose any SCVs, lose a couple of Marines. But in the meantime, he has lost the middle as the surround on his tanks has cleaned out all the tanks in the middle, and GangnamLife has control over middle back. Now he's going to lose the tanks inside the pathway on his choke to the Dragoons and the Zealots. And he is now a bit of supply down, about 30 supply down on GangnamLife. GangnamLife is going to send more units, but in the meantime, a huge drop is happening inside GangnamLife's base. GangnamLife has just lost a lot of probes. Let's see how many killed. 36 probes, 2 probes, kills more probes. Ooh, 48 probes down. Ooh, damn. That's a really good counter drop that I almost missed. I'm glad I managed to catch that just in time while being distracted by the fighting on the middle. There's a lot of fighting, a lot of things going on at the same time in this match. Though there's also a lot of, quite some periods of time where nothing was happening at all. And now GangnamLife has to recover really quickly, because Gasvulture's minerals are still on the exact same level of income, because he barely lost any SCVs to any of these drops in the last 10 minutes. He's been able to build up his base and his tank mass. And GangnamLife is now in a very sticky situation because he only has 2 Nexuses, and 2 Nexuses is definitely not enough time to rebuild 48 probes, or even more probes that he lost to those drops. That happened just now, and it's gonna take at least 5 minutes to rebuild a probe count of about 50 or 60 with 2 Nexuses, and he is not gonna make a second Nexus, so he's gonna have to rely on a little bit of reserve cash stack that he already had to get him through this little portion of the game, where it's basically all in Gasvulture's hands to finish the game with a push. He's not going to go for a push, instead he's loading up 3 dropships again, and he's going to go for another drop, which might just work because GangnamLife did not cannon up this portion, did not put any units there. Gasvulture scanned it, so he knows that there are no units there, and unfortunately for GangnamLife is sending out all his units out of his base into the middle. He's going to go for a frontal attack at the same time that he's going to get dropped, so he's going to be distracted from the drop, and the drop might just work. And this situation is very much in Gasvulture's advantage. There is the drop, tanks gets put down, and he kills 16, kills 1, kills 0, 1, 1, 3. He killed all of GangnamLife's probes again, and now he's going to have to use probes to kill tanks. And there is a drop that's happening, but he doesn't get any storms off on the SCVs. A complete failure of a drop. Good dodge by Gasvulture. But meanwhile, the front is getting seized, and a bunch of machine shops went down, a factory went down, a bunch of tanks went down, and GangnamLife is slowly pushing in this front, but there are so many tanks spread out in Gasvulture's space. GangnamLife is not going to be able to push this in. He's going to lose all these Dragoons, and he's going to have to fight an uphill battle without any probes in his base. Although he's rebuilding a couple of probes, he has 8 probes mining now. He's really broke. He added a 3rd Nexus, but the 3rd Nexus might not be enough, not enough to be able to recover from this. And another frontal attack is coming in. A bunch of gateway units, zealots rushing in. They're gonna try to kill tanks, but they have to walk around all these factories in order to even reach the tanks, so he might not even be able to do much damage at all, other than losing and buying himself time. And losing zealots. Another drop flies in, and this time he doesn't even get a storm off, because the zealots all dying in a single tank shot by these tanks. And then the Templar drops, and the Templar also dies immediately to the tank shots. And GangnamLife is looking... He has to be shaking in his boots now, because he's in a really bad situation with a very low income. I think he has about 16 probes on his gas now, I mean on his minerals now. He does have a lot of units out on the map. A bunch of zealots there, dragoons, zealots here, templars. He no longer has a arbiter. The arbiter died in the attack. He's making 2 carriers, which is way too late into the game. And he's not going to be able to support the carriers even. He doesn't even have gas left. He has 3 probes mining gas. This is looking really dire for GangnamLife. Gasvulture, however, is not attacking. He's deciding to rebuild. I don't think Gasvulture knows just how poor and broke GangnamLife is. He's playing very, very defensive here. Deciding to build up his base. Not to go for a counterattack. Even though GangnamLife would definitely not survive a counterattack. Even with these 5 carriers that he has finished in his base. He does a scan. He sees everything GangnamLife has. So I assume he now knows that it might be a good time to... Yes, he unsieges. It might be a good time to attack. I'm glad we agreed, Gasvulture. Gasvulture is loading up a bunch of tanks into the dropships. Going for another drop. But this time, GangnamLife made a bunch of cannons. Even put a Templar there to storm the tanks. And there's a couple dragoons there to fight off a tank drop. But this time, it's not just a tank drop. It's raids and a tank drop. And he's also sending out tanks in the middle, but these tanks are going to die to the zealots that are positioned in the middle. Once they see each other, they won't see each other actually, but GangnamLife will send them to counter pincer move these tanks manually. But here is a nice little move that's exactly 12 raids and 6 tanks and 3 dropships. He cloaks the raids, sends in the dropships first, and he is going Nexus hunting. He drops the tanks, he doesn't siege them, he's just gonna fire on the Nexus, flies the raids in, and the Nexus dies to the tanks and the raids. All the raids and tanks have been cleaned out, but GangnamLife no longer has a main Nexus and now has... his income is now slowed down because the probes have to travel a bigger distance. He has to make more probes to get the same amount of income from that mineral patch, but he only has 2 nexuses to make probes from. And he's really broke. He's on 60 minerals. He's doing his best to spend all of his minerals. He's going to do his best to attack here, but Gasvulture is fully prepared for this attack. The carriers won't be able to do much because there are so many turrets inside Gasvulture's base that will snipe all these interceptors down. He has Goliaths being produced. He's got 8 Goliaths now with which he can target fire the carriers. The carriers are going down very quickly to these Goliaths. A bunch of zealots are going to come walking in, but there are so many tanks and there's so many buildings obstructing access to these tanks that GangnamLife might just have to tap out here. He's definitely going to tap out. This game is over. Income is low, unit count is low, his base is in shambles, Gasvulture has no issues defending against this at all, the Dragoons are dying, Zealots have all died, the Dragoons are dying, the Dragoons are taking down some factories, but GangnamLife realizes his demise and calls the GG. Gasvulture played that pretty well in all stages of the game really. It was a good choice to go for those drops and to keep harassing GangnamLife, even when I'm sure GangnamLife was no longer expecting some of those drops, because it's like, again, more drops, again. At some point you would expect the Terran player to assume it to be futile to throw out more drops, but as you have seen here, it's never futile to keep trying. Just force open, just pry open an opening in the base, and just go for it again, and go for it again. Just keep hammering at your opponent, and keep trying to find an opening. Never give up on trying to find an opening. because you might just find one, and the window you find might just be the game deciding move that gets you the game into your advantage and wins you the game. I hope you enjoyed that one. There was a lot less fighting going on. There was a lot of drops happening left and right, non-stop for the first 60 minutes or so. And once the fighting started, it was pretty much already over for GangnamLife, as Gasvulture was in a very good situation. Had built himself up a nice base, and destroyed GangnamLife's economy, then destroys his nexus, then destroys his army, and then destroys this guy's career. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that one. Goodbye.